Powerful. Yeah, so it's been a minute since I posted anything on YouTube, and hopefully this year I'll be able to be a bit more active. I have a ton of people that want to come on the podcast, and I have a couple of really cool video ideas. And I've actually recorded stuff. I just haven't had time to like edit it and put it together. But anyways, enough of that. The reason that I've been kind of been absent in a lot of ways, like especially my social life, is I've been working on something really cool. The so I've worked with a few different promotions now in like arm wrestling and one in mixed martial arts. Looking for a pay-per-view platform that kind of allows more entry-level events, kind of get the full spiel of doing the pay-per-view model. And especially with what's going on with YouTube right now and other platforms, let's say, and how your account can kind of, be taken away from you in an instant. And monetization has kind of been at an all-time low. I feel like I've built a product over the last year that allows kind of how do I say it? Like allows people wanting to use the pay-per-view model an entry point that's not gonna cost them an arm and a leg, that's like super affordable. The website's called premstream.com, and how many events have we had now? I think we've had like 3 or 4 public ones. We did a mixed martial arts event at the end of last year. Or was it the beginning of this year? My dates are all goofed now. I don't know what day it is anymore. But yeah, so we've had a few people using it now, and everybody thinks it's kind of the coolest thing and the easiest to use platform of its kind that they've done or that they've played around with. So big things on that. I was going to open it up to the world at the beginning of the new year, but one of my advisors essentially said that I should probably curate people more, not just open it up to everyone right away. So if you have a sporting organization and you want to, use the pay-per-view model, pretty much more affordable than any other platform out there. And this is not, before people get it kind of confused, this is not a replacement for, organizations like Core Sports that do like, all the production and everything. This is an entry-level platform that if you want to do the production yourself and you just want an entry point into being able to charge your users and getting actual access to you, instead, if you do something through YouTube, for example, you have no way of contacting the people that have, subscribed to you, for example, whereas with my platform, you actually get direct access to people that buy your pay-per-view, so you can essentially tell them what else is going on, right? Like next events and whatnot. But yeah, so if you're actually a promotion who wants to start playing with the pay-per-view model, reach out to me through Instagram or leave me a comment. I can reach out to you, or just go to premstream.com, check it out. I think there's some contact information there, and then I can onboard you and kind of show you what's going on behind the scenes and show you the pricing model, which is, right now it's ridiculously cheap to do, mostly just because I want people to start using it and getting more and more feedback. All the feedback we've had so far has been super positive. Nothing but good changes, and good feedback has made good changes to the platform to make it more usable and more user friendly for people coming down the road. So, but anyways, I'm gonna make a full video on that, at some other point in time. Right now, I'm just kind of I got a lot of stuff going on, so I'm literally just kind of doing my last workout here before I leave for Ireland. So I am going to Ireland tomorrow morning, and I'll be there. I think I arrive Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. But I'm going there for the Arm Gods event. So I'm looking down because I have a few dates that I want to go over. So I'm just gonna reference them just so I don't screw them up. And that's March 23rd. So that's next weekend. Honestly, all the links for everything I'm going to talk about, it's going to be down in the description. But man, those guys put on the coolest shows. I don't know, it's crazy. It's madness. It's just madness. It's, they got the red lights. People are screaming and raging out in the crowd. You got people walking in with pig masks, and I've had some insider info that some pretty wild walkouts are going to happen this time around too. But honestly, if you're into arm wrestling at all, like you gotta check this out next weekend. Armgods.com. I think it's like $5 or something. Like you'd be crazy not to get it. Like for the price, especially. So many matches, and it's gonna be mad, and I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. So if the cameras pan around, you might see me kind of running around in the background, right? So that's March 23rd, and the same weekend, if you're in Toronto, the Table Monkeys have their team event. So that's, it sucks it's on the same day, but if you're in Toronto, like I would go check that one out and then watch the Arm Gods event either before or after, depending on when the times, the time differences are. But yeah, if you're in Toronto next weekend or in the Toronto area, for sure check out the Table Monkeys event. I think I'll link their Facebook events, whatever. It'll be in the description. And then in April, and this is one of the reasons that I'm not skipping a workout right now, is Umesh has another Be Strong arm wrestling event going on. That's April 21st. I think it's a Sunday. And I'm going to have a match against Beefcake Jake. See, I actually like Jake. He actually came on the podcast like last year, I think it was. Might have been the year before last year. It was right before after the... No, it was before last year, because it was before the last auto open, not the one that was just now. But anyways, I used to think he was a cool guy, but until March 21st, probably an hour after our match, he's an asshole. Fuck that guy, right? So, fuck that guy. I'm gonna fucking smash. I'm gonna smash you, Jake. Honestly, my right arm's injured, so this is a left-handed match. But man, my left is fucking awesome, right? Like honestly, it does feel pretty good. You can't tell because of the hoodie, but it's thick. It's not like crazy thick. I'm a little dude, but for me, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. See, so we got that going on in April, and then May 25th, we got the first MAC event. So that's the Major Arm Wrestling Championships. That's Ian Carnegie's event, and I've been working a lot with Ian over the last few months. What a cool dude. What a really, really cool dude. Really nice guy. He's got a really, really cool concept that I think, again, I got to play on the table once or twice, maybe 3 times, a couple times. And I'm a huge fan. And again, I'm new to arm wrestling. So like, I only have a couple of years to kind of compare the table and the dynamics of the sport to, what kind of he's bringing, to his promotion versus what other promotions out there are doing. So my opinion might be trash garbage, but I'll tell you this. The first time I played on the table, I thought it was awesome, because the big thing about the Mac table is the pads are kind of sunk in a little bit, but it's not like these like goofy like donuts that you see that like old school arm wrestling. This is like the table is kind of a conventional table size, but the pads I believe are like 10 by 10 or 10 by 11 or something like that. They're definitely bigger, right? They're wider than a conventional pad, and they're sunken into the table instead of being out of the table. So now you can't really elbow foul, right? So like I know that there's a lot of people that if you're going really, really hard, really fast, and you're going to pin the dude, and then your elbow slips off, and then the match is called as a foul, and you have to start over. Like that stuff sucks, especially when there's no real fouls, right? Like there's totally some matches. I'm not going to name them, but there's some recent matches within the last 6 months that somebody got a pin, and the refs called a foul, and then when you're looking at the replay, it was the other guy that actually fouled, but they called it on the dude that got the pin. Anyways, I'm sure if you look around, like you can find out which match exactly I'm talking about. But stuff like that, it's so frustrating. So the big thing about the Mac table is the pads are sunken in, and there's no foul unless your elbow goes outside of the kind of sunken in pad, right? So I believe it's 1/4 of an inch in. So it's like, whatever, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's around whatever this, right? So even if your elbow kind of pops up a little bit when you're trying to post or do whatever, it shouldn't actually matter, right? Like if it pops up a little bit, as long as it stays inside that hole, there's a bit of a grace zone that those aren't fouls, right? It doesn't count as a foul anymore. I guess the rule is if you're trying to game the system, so if you're trying to hover right outside the edge of that, you'll probably get called for being a goober. But I think that this is kind of a game changer as far as arm wrestling goes, in my opinion. Again, I don't know who will buy, but at the end of the day, I've played on it, and there was a few modifications made like right away. And that's the thing. Ian's listened to a lot of feedback. Like a lot of people have played on this table to this point, and he's really listened to a lot of feedback. So like one of the first things that I noticed is there was ways that you can kind of like lean your arm against the side of the pin pad and kind of have it essentially exploit the table in a way. And pretty much the next time I saw the table, like all those exploits were gone, right? So there's been a lot of like R&D that's gone behind making this table into something that's going to streamline the sport and get rid of unnecessary stoppages in the action. And I'm all for it. Like, it's interesting because you see a lot of other sports that have like evolved their rule sets within whatever, let's say the last 30, 40 years. Even hockey has changed, right? Like hockey's made goalie pads smaller. They've made the nets bigger. Obviously like mixed martial arts and a lot of those other combat sports, like they've done a lot of changing over the last few years. And I don't think that arm wrestling really has. And again, I'm not an expert. I'm just going from my knowledge the last couple of years. But all that aside, I really think what he's trying to do is awesome. I think it's taking things into the right direction, and I'm working with him so a lot of the posters and promotional material and the videos and stuff that you've seen so far, like that was me who kind of threw that together. Actually, I did some really cool filming. So we went out to the Kingston Club, which is kind of in like this like hangar thing, and we filmed some promotional material in there. So the video you see where he's kind of like in darkness and it's black and white and he's talking about the table, that's just a small clip of what we filmed. I think I filmed probably half an hour, 40 minutes or so of footage of Ian talking about the table and talking about the changes that have been made to it and why the changes and the rule set. And I just haven't had a chance to edit the rest of that footage yet. So hopefully within the next few weeks or a month or so, that footage, the full thing, will kind of be released in the way that I think it should be. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on, man. A lot of stuff going on. Armed Gods next weekend. I can't wait. It's gonna be insane. Honestly, everything I'm saying might be bullshit because I might not survive next weekend. I've seen the way those guys drink and party afterwards. Like, I'm gonna be there, and I know Evan's gonna be there, and I know Evan's gonna be drinking, and I know he's gonna try to force me to drink more than I want to drink. And I'm down with that, so whatever. Like, it's gonna be like I might not make it back. I might just stay in Ireland. Who knows? Who knows what happens? And then again, then the Table Monkeys event next weekend as well. For your Toronto area, check that out. And I believe they're streaming it too. The Be Strong Arm Wrestling, April 21st. Man, I'm pumped. You know what? That match came at such a good time because I was crazy overworked, and then I noticed that Umesh posted a thing on Facebook saying if anybody wants matches, and I was like, you know what? Whatever. I need some motivation to keep my physical fitness more on track than it's been. And right away, Jake commented on. So technically, he's the one who called me out. So just so everybody knows, he's a bigger dude. He's got way more experience. Okay, he's probably better at arm wrestling. He's probably stronger than me. But I'm still gonna win. I just know it. I know it deep down. I know it. And Jake knows it too. Jake knows the reason. I know the reason why Jake called me out and the reason that he wanted that match. Why don't you tell people, Jake? Why don't you tell people why you wanted that match? And then, and then Mac, number 1, May 25th. I'll leave the link for that. And that's a pay-per-view. And early bird ticket sales are right now. So if you buy access to the pay-per-view between now and I believe May, it's a few bucks off. Plus, one more thing. If you use the promo code of any of the athletes that are on the card, they get half the revenue of the pay-per-view. And that, I think, is fucking really cool. Boom!
boom.